Well, good evening, everyone. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend and about ready to look at the week ahead. Before we get started, I like to get a sight and a sound check, please. Can you see my screen and can you hear me? Thanks, Walter. 10 4. 10 4 there, good buddy. Hunker down. Okay, let's look. Earnings season started on Friday for me. We had the banks did the report, so we're starting to get into it this week. A few more banks, and then we're going to go over some of the reporting, the big reporting people this week. This is my favorite season, about 6 weeks worth. I want to do a disclaimer here. Let everybody know that you can lose money in trading. It involves the risk of loss of capital, and you should determine whether it's appropriate for you. And nothing in here should be construed as a recommendation or advice. It's only for educational purposes. And with that said, let's get going. For those who do not know me, I'm an ex-U.S. Air Force fighter pilot with dual master's degree in computers and in business. I've been an active trader since the mid to late 90s, full-time trader since 2009. I am a technical trader, but I do use limited fundamentals, and that's just to judge momentum and things like that. I moderate for H&R candlesticks from time to time, and I do provide one-on-one mentoring. Little plug here for Hit and Run Candlesticks. There's the Hit and Run Candlesticks main room, which focuses primarily on stock trading with some options, and Right Way Options, which focuses on options and some stocks. We also have the live trading alerts scanner, probably the best scanner that I've ever run across, and then so I'm giving some kudos out there to Ed Carter, and at a reasonable price. A lot of people balk at $147, but I paid $300 a month for it before this came along, and that's quite reasonable. Right Way Options, going into that just a little bit. Doug is probably the best options trader that I've ever seen in my 20-something years of trading. All right, and stick around to the end of the presentation. There will be a special offer. All right, here's what we're going to cover tonight. Economic calendar, earnings, a little overview of the market. I'll go over some trade ideas, both long and short. Time permitting, we will go on to Q&A, and time permitting, we'll go on to looking at some of your stocks. Okay, economic reports this week. A little on the thin side. Empire State's on Monday at 8:30. We have industrial production at 9:15 before the market opens on Tuesday. The housing market index out at 10. And I do caution people that if reports with red or green dots occur during the market hours, we could get a market reaction. International trade at 8:30 on Wednesday. And then I always like to trade the petroleum report at 10:30 on Wednesdays. Jobless claims weekly at 8:30 on the 18th, Thursday. Philly Fed at the same time, and retail sales. Then we have business inventories at 10. The net gas is not as important as it used to be. And finally on Friday we have some housing starts. So you might want to be aware of all these things when the markets are open. All right, let's go over the earnings calendar real quick. On Monday, continuation of the banks. We've got Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, Charles Schwab. Tuesday notables are JB Hunt. Then when I say Tuesday, that JB Hunt is in after the bell on Monday. I lump them together because I will not trade after hours except to sell. And normally I don't hold over earnings, so I usually don't have a bunch of those. But if I did, I would only do a sell. I wouldn't do a buy. I wait for the next day's regular trading hours open. Hello, Arnaldo. JB Hunt, Bank of America, J&J, Progressive, and United Health. Wednesday, we've got CSX after the bell on Tuesday, IBM, Netflix, and UIL. I think those are all after the bell on Tuesday. Then we have Abbott, Morgan Stanley, PepsiCo, and Textron, I believe, TXT on Wednesday before the bell. After the bell on Wednesday, we have Alcoa, KMI, Las Vegas Sands, and URI. Thursday before the open, we have AXP, Blackstone BX, Checkpoint, one of my favorite software companies, PM, Slumberger, Skechers, TSM, and Travelers. On Friday, we have ISRG and Key. ISRG, I believe, is the day before, and Key on Friday. But please check your calendars and brokers. What are the ways you can check the earnings calendar? At briefing.com. You do not have to be a paying member, but they do ask for you to sign up for them. I have not been bothered by them at all. I don't get any spam, so I can recommend them. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, let's look at the market overview. And what I like to do is I like to start off with the commodities. I'm looking at oil here, and I've been calling for oil long since somewhere around here, around 52 to 55. And it's basically marching up the 17 exponential moving average, but I'm basically saying that the next level is 66. I use Stochastics RSI 7733. It's pulling back deeply, and price is basically holding steady. As long as it holds above about 62-ish or so, I'm still bullish on oil. Unfortunately, that means that I'll be paying more at the pump. But since I have a couple of oil stocks, it's probably pretty good for me. Gold. We were bullish gold from about November and January. And once we rolled over here and could not go back up, we basically bailed out here around 1300. Right now, I see it just kind of in a trading range from about 1280 to maybe about 1325. So unless we can get started on another upward trend right now, there is no inflation fear out there at all. Okay, let's jump over to the S&P, the ES. Let's see, is this? I think this is on a 6-month already. I've got this line that was drawn up here at 2888. I'm going to go out to a 9-month chart. Time frame. And you can see how the highs up here somewhere maybe in 29.25 or up to 29.50. Somewhere in there looks like the next major resistance area. We're just climbing this wall of worry higher with a few little scary dips along the way. The Stochastics RSI is curling up from below the 50% line, and the fast Stochastics RSI did hit the 20 and bounced. That's pretty bullish. Dow coming up to this 2625 level. It's kind of lagging the S&P. If it can get over there, we're probably talking about 26.8 to 27. Also, stochastics are coming up from the lows. NASDAQ already up at the September highs, 76.75, and we have not had the stochastics RSI curl back up yet. If we get that, I am looking for new all-time highs. Lastly, let's look at the Russell. And the poor Russell just cannot get things going. I thought for a while here in March that we had ourselves a cup and handle, with the handle being over here, but it just kind of fizzled out. We've got to get over 1600 and then 1635 before I really get excited at all about it. The good part is that it does look like we're trying to follow, even though we are the laggard here. VIX. VIX is still hanging down near the lows, around 12 to 15, somewhere in that ballpark. We get spikes occasionally back up, but not too bad at the moment. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to minimize this. And let's go look at some trade ideas. You want to take a snapshot of that if you want. I'm going to bring up my TC2000. And let's go here. Okay. Let's go back. I didn't copy them over. All right. And I'm going to do them in no real order here, other I guess it's copied it over in reverse order of where I found them. BGS looks like this is a failure, potentially a short to go down and retest 23. What it does is happening is that it's rallying, failing, rally, failed. We look like we were possibly going to bottom out here, and then it looks like it's failed again. So it cannot even get up to the 50 period moving average. A lot of times these stocks, when they're going down, they'll rally to about my magenta line, which is the 17 exponential. Anything below about 23.90 is shortable. Probably only has $1 or so in it, so you may or may not like that one. Sprouts Farmers Market's doing the same thing. We have a negative candle here on Friday out near a rally point. It's a failed rally. We're looking down to below 20. Concho was down, a reversal on Friday, gapped up here to 114. If we open positive, maybe about 115 to 115 and a half, I look for us to possibly go up to the 122 area. Energizer, the bunny, looking for this one to at least retest the 49.20. If it can get over this 49.25 to 49.50, the reason it's on my list is not necessarily a trade on Monday or even Tuesday. This area over here to the left, let me put a box around it. This area right in here, there was a big waterfall. There is virtually no resistance until you get up to this area right here over 55. So anything over about this 50 area, it's going to 55 fairly quickly. Now, electronic components, May the 1st. So we've got a 2-week run, maybe into earnings. All right. Let's go to the next one. Lionsgate, LGF A and B. I'm looking for us to go up here to at least this 18 and a quarter. Sorry, disregard. This is a bearish engulf. If we can get through this 1650 area, I think we go back down to 15 and a half. So that would be a short rather than a long. Boot is a long, and I'm looking for it to curl back up and retest the $32 level. Notice that the stochastics RSI is pretty good, and we have balance of power coming in. And this, we had a reasonably high volume day here, up here. I think it'll go back and retest it. We'll look here on the 60-minute chart. And I'm looking for somewhere in that area to be retested, around the 32. Home Depot, We're doing a J hook here, continuation of the breakout over 204. Where's it going to go? Probably going to go up here to this 210 to 215 area. All right. All right, let's look at XLB. Materials. All right, it's also doing the J hook. You can see that from this little motion up here and the curl back, and we did a nice gap up. We need a continuation to that gap. And where are we headed to? Well, we have initial resistance here, probably around 59, but we could, over time, get up into the 60 to 61, the low 60s. Celanese, CE. Again, nice J hook here, looking for a continuation move. It has to break 106, and then above that we have a pretty much a waterfall, lack of resistance all the way up to probably about 113. All right, again, stochastics RSI curling up from the bottom here, and the checkpoint would be this 106 area. Some people could decide to wait on it until it breaks out there, and I can understand that. Fate, another possible short, especially if it can break 1575. It could go to 14 to maybe even 13 and a quarter. Biotech, not for the faint of heart, fairly thin trading, so be careful. Don't go hard and heavy on that one. Genuine Parts, GPC, if we can get going over 113 and a quarter or so this week, we look like we're probably going to go up to the 115s or higher. I think this is an all-time high. Yes, it is. So that would be a good one to keep an eye on. Well, we did talk about Home Depot. Lowe's has already done the breakout here. Look at the area chart. We're approaching the all-time highs of around 117. If I go look at the weekly here, there's the all-time highs back here in September. We need to continue. My stochastics RSI says we had the juice to do it. And the daily is just now picking up steam. So it looks really good. Last one I have on my list is Zscaler software. We're on the daily. And this one looks a bit to the negative side, but it'd be an aggressive short trade. What we've done is we've done pretty nice here, but what's happening is we're putting in lower lows and lower highs. So right now, we're pointing lower. So if we can get lower and break through 65, the real test is going to be here around 62 and probably all the way here in the mid 57.50 or so. That, with some movement down on Monday or Tuesday, that could be a decent short. All right, that's it, quick and dirty, for the stocks that I have. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask if anybody has any general questions. We're not talking about stock specific, but we're talking about general questions. And while you're typing those in, I want to let you know about 60-day trial offer for Hit and Run candlesticks or Right Way options. Each of them are $49, less than $25 a month for 2 months. Give you a good idea of what they do. Use this link, go in and trickle and sign up for those. I think you'd enjoy the time spent there and learn a lot. Again, I'm a bit prejudiced, but I believe that's the case. All right, let's see if we have any general questions tonight. Don't see anybody typing in right now. TC 2000 versus LTA. Does one feed the other? Well, TC 2000, the LTA scanner If you see something pop on it, you can double click on the symbol, and it will pop up in automatically change your chart to that symbol. So in that regard, yes, it does. It does not go the other way around, obviously. How do you rate the general market? What are you looking for? Each day before trading stocks, if not all the indices agree. Well, that's it. You're welcome, Michael. Also, Ed, if you're here, go ahead and if you'd go ahead and point out, he has occasionally every couple of weeks he has kind of a tutorial type session in this room, and if he has one scheduled in the next couple of weeks, maybe he'll post it out there for you guys. Well, Rick I, you said, what do I do if the indices don't agree? That's a problem. You have to decide which one you think is telling you the real deal. There's no right or wrong answer or even definitive answer for that. It's basically a feel. And so that's all I'll have to leave it at. I'm sorry. Barry C wants to know, do you find the VWAP indicator useful for intraday trades? I don't use volume weighted average price. Just never really got into it. However, one thing that I do use that works pretty well, let's come on here. No. All right. Here's the S&P futures. All right, I have the volume profile on over here, and it's volume at price, and I'll use those intraday. And I'll take a look and see where I usually a 5 and a 15 minute. I tend to use the 15 and 30 minute charts to do that. Okay, no problem, Ed. Thank you. Got it here. This will tell you where the most trading has been, and this basically says that we zoomed up here. We have very little. We have some little pocket of resistance or support now around 2904, and we have it all the way down here at 2894. So if I was seeing it come back, and I see it come back below this 2900, or come back towards, this below the 2908, I'd expect that the futures would come back to 2904. Not only does it have this pocket here that looks like on trading, but it also has the most volume. I use these, I call them skyscrapers, to let me know where the most buying was occurring, buying and selling. Now, we tend to bounce from skyscraper top to top, and so therefore, if we're going up, we would bounce to each one of these, and if we're going down. Now, if we're going to go up, the problem is we don't have anything. We don't have anything recent off to the left. Okay. Richie S wants to know, read before the ES moves the NQ and why I move before that shows the IS. Have you heard this? I've heard people talk about one leading the other. Personally, I don't have anything that is infallible either way. The Dow, being only 30 stocks, can get out of sync with the others fairly easily. The Dow and the S&P do tend to run in sync. I don't know that one leads the other very much. And obviously the Russell is a lot of times on its own page like it's been doing. So I tend to trade the Dow only because the S&P is is a larger number, so I can control my risk a little bit better and manage it on the Dow. It's personal preference, and I will trade the Nasdaq. Now, with the Nasdaq, it does tend to move fairly rapidly, so you have to be careful on that. Okay, that's about the best I can do at the moment. All right, we'll open it up for stocks. One stock and one only. Please tell me if you're thinking about long or short. And we'll MASI. I'm going to go here. I'm going to use my TC2000 to do that tonight. MASI. This one was going gangbusters back here in January, February. And if you could tell by looking at my EMA only chart, we're starting to flatten off. Now, we've had a hell of a run from 105 to 135. That's about 31 to 33% move. It would be not unusual for it to kind of rest. Now, resting could go sideways or it could pull back. Right now, we have to make sure that this thing does not do a lower low below 133.50. If you're looking for it long, well, I would make it get over about 137.50, and then it would prove that it's going to go higher. I do see the stochastics RSI curling up, but I don't see anything definitively telling me either way. Let's go look at a three-day chart of that one, and look at a 5-day chart, which is a weekly chart. And you can see how we're getting a little on the toppy side. So be careful with Massey. Twitter long for Rick T. TWTR. Not right now. We're pulling back. We don't know where it's going to stop. I still think we have another day or so to the downside. I'm going to guess 33.75 or lower. Could it be a flip around? Make sure you get a buy signal. Now, could this be doing some semblance of a cup and handle? Yes, it could. With this being kind of a cup and this being a handle. But we could pull back and it'd still be bullish if it pulls back to say 33.50 to something like that. Okay. Jonathan B wants to look at X-ray. X-ray does look like it's marching up this T line here, with the light blue line. If we look at the 3-day, let's look if we got any resistance over here to the left. It's 51.35 or so. If we could continue to go up there, maybe the next level of resistance could be to 55 or as low as 54. Yeah, I can see what you're looking at there. The only problem there is be careful about it to flip back around. Make sure you have a good stop. Where's the stop? Right now, 51.25 with the stop would have to be maybe $1 or a little more below, and you do have a better than 2-to-1 reward to risk. That looks pretty decent. Okay. Let's see. CDK long. CDK looks like it's trying to break out and go up into, say, the $62 level. Earnings is on the 30th. So you've got, I did not look at earnings on the others there. I do apologize. We got about 2 weeks run into earnings. Let's look at, again, a 3-day. I like to look at 3 days. Yep, you can see the congestion here that's trying to break out above. It does have some congestion, 61. It may be up to 64. Okay, just be careful. Long on M. Macy's. I don't see anything bullish about Macy's at all. Retailers, the department stores in particular, this is where I add some of my fundamentals to it. they're out of favor. Where are all the Macy's stores? Except for being online, which they do a reasonable job of. I know because my wife shops online with Macy's. The department stores are anchored in malls. Malls, we've got a couple of them here are dead in the Orlando Metroplex. Some of them are still hanging in there, but there's a lot of stores because people are shopping online. Not totally, but they're not shopping in the malls as much as they used to. I don't remember the last time I went to a mall, except to go to the Apple store. That's it. Get my phone looked at. All right, this right here, doing a deep pullback, 100% retracement. If you got above, say, $25, I could see where that might be a long candidate, but I'm going to make higher highs and higher lows. Right now, this is threatening to make an equal low. It's retracement. If it had stopped at $25, I'd have felt a lot better about it. Okay, United Health long. Well, I'm going to admit, I've got some United Health here. My wife has it. And the last 2 days, I was buried up to my you-know-what in taxes, and I did not see this thing fall out of bed. This is wait until earnings, which is on the 16th, and see how it reacts to that. Now, the first thing that's going to happen, assuming that it does a decent job on earnings, has a good reaction to earnings, it's got to get up to this level here, which is where we kind of paused on Thursday, at that level there, and then the next level is around this 250. For it to be a really good longer term long other than a swing trade, you got to get over 250. I've got some long dated leaps. UPS, no position, look to go long once it gets close to the trend line. All right. Yep, I see how UPS gapped up. I believe this was on, no, earnings is coming up on the 25th. It sure looks like this level right here, 116.70, wants to get retested. Above that, I think you've got some congestion over here to the left in this area right over here. So I don't know. It's kind of tough, but I see how to curl up. When you say trend line, you're looking for it to pull back. I could see buying a breakout above 115 with a tight stop. NVIDIA. Some of the fundamentals have not been good with NVIDIA. Their recent cards were way too expensive, but it looks like they're trying to dig themselves out of the hole they dug. They were back here. Let's go look at this again. They were doing great guns back here up until about October. That's when they started warning that they had excess inventory because of the crypto mining craze died, and they could not give away some of their graphics cards. And I think a 50% retracement off of this move here is probably right around 212. So anywhere in here, we could get a pause or a pullback. Let's look at the weekly. At the daily, we can get a pause or pullback anywhere right in here as well. But look at in the near term, we are doing move up, pullback, move up. We have not done really a big pullback. The stochastics RSI does say that it wants to go a little higher. And the bottom of this gap is about 197 and a quarter. Can't see the whole chart anymore. I can see my whole chart over there. Were you talking about the stuff on the left, Elvis? Because I went to Shift L to take care of it. Otherwise, you may have to... All right, let's do this again for everybody. It should be now. Elvis, let me know. Berkshire Hathaway. Now, Berkshire Hathaway, it looks like it wants to go up here to the 221. Thank you very much. I like this one. That's a big breakout. It's not insurance, it's diversified, and it's a lot of banks and stuff. But May the 3rd, we're doing a run up. All right, because we did the breakout right here above 209. Now, be careful here. Where's the stop? That's the problem. We know that we've got possibly $10 in it, so I would make it that it can't have less than. So I got probably maybe a $3 stop for a $10 gain, if you're willing to do that. That's pretty decent. Thanks. I like that. Terry wants to look at Lulu. All right, I'm going to put up another set of crosses here, and let's not have any more stocks, please. Lulu did a gap up on earnings. This one's kind of tough. I normally like to look for 45-degree runners. This one on the 3-day chart is doing a 45-degree run. But here's the problem. On the daily, you do have BOP on your side, but you're basically doing a wedge. That's kind of what I'm seeing we're doing. So, is that bullish? Yes, if we break out. I'd make it break out first. GH long, personal preference. GH had a substantial run up and a substantial drop right back down, 100% retrace. Those are not ones that I like. We had balance of power in your favor back here in February and March, and now it's turned negative. That tells me that the institutions are distributing their stock at the moment. If you got above, say, $80, we may want to try to go back up into this $90 level. Right now, I don't really like those kinds of patterns. There is a pattern that's very similar to this, but it's not exactly this one. It's called an Eiffel Tower. And because it has this little concave type of pattern where it does up, runs out of steam, and comes crashing down to earth. And usually that is a 100% pullback. Okay? That's kind of what we did right here. All right, I normally try to avoid those myself. IWM long. IWM long. Well, if IWM could get over 159-ish, maybe. But this is the weakest index. Why are we trying to go after the weak one, Yarmila? I'm saying let's go against, let's go look at Qs. This is the strongest one. We're about ready to do a breakout. Now, probably would have been better for us to buy the dip back here. IWM made lower lows and lower highs. We're now coming back up here. We're making slightly higher highs and higher lows. Well, that could be a trend up. We have resistance, and I don't like to buy at resistance. I want to buy before it so I can use resistance as my first checkpoint, or I like to buy on a strong move, and I make that strong move above resistance. So I'm not much of a fan of IWM at the moment. I've been in a position for Lynn for 2 weeks. What are your thoughts going forward? Well, Doesn't report till the June the 25th. We have housing this Friday. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do a 3-day. Yep. Lennar's having trouble with this area right in here. We've spent May, June, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We spent 5 months in this area. Then it dipped down to do kind of a scoop on the 3-day chart. It's not time to give up on it, but it's not going to be a speed demon either. This is going to take a little time to get through. Yeah, and that's what you're doing. You're kind of poking along. Could we get a retest of this high volume spike there? Sure, let's go look at a 60. Okay. I can see 52.25 if we can get over 51.75. This area right in here and this area right in here, especially 51.50. It looks like it's trying to curl back up and we're getting some balance of power. So hopefully it'll help you. Good luck. Cisco, what a strong beast here. You are long Cisco or looking at it. If you're looking at it, well, we should have all been long Cisco back here around 50, 49.5. I missed it too. I'll be honest with you. I'm always scared that these are going to run out of steam. But again, part of NASDAQ and the biggies in NASDAQ are going. So as long as the Qs keep going, Cisco will keep going probably. CMCSA long for Elvis. All right, if you're already long, it's good. Stay in it. Let's go look at the area chart. We could be trying to go up to this 42.50 area. Yep, I think that's where we're headed right now. Looking at the weekly chart. Probably 42.50 as we just did the breakout. TCS. We're in the gap. It probably, if it can, well, it looks like it wants to go retest the $8.90, $9 area, and maybe $9.50. Not really a fan of stocks that, two things. One, only trade 275,000 shares a day, and 2 are in retail, and 3 move 34 cents a day. So see, this would not be on my radar screen because the volume's too little. I want somewhere around $500,000 to swing trade, and to day trade I want closer to $1 million. But that's personal preference. And Frank gets our last one here. We talked about GH again. He's going to bring up 81, first target 90 and 95. Okay, that could work. CB, I'm going to look at CNC for you. Oh, CNC. I sure hope you're thinking short and you're not in it. Because 52.50 to 49.75 looks like retest. We're coming off really hard off that bounce. Probably a little late to be shorting. The perfect time to have shorted this puppy was probably right in there as we broke down. Bounce, tried to bounce, couldn't do it. Let's go to a 60-minute chart. See, it tried to hold this level right in here around 55.35. You can really see it here on a 30-minute chart, and then it failed. I'm not sure that this might be too late to short, though. All right. Okay, we're kind of in no man's land here. It's kind of late to go long. It's kind of either early or late on some of them to go short. One thing I want to bring up that I have not done before we go for the day is I want to look at the T2122. Anybody who has TC2000, look at the T2122. Anything over 85, you have to be careful about a pullback. Anything below 20 and definitely approaching 7.5, look for a bounce. This is my bounce zone. That's my pullback zone. It works pretty darn good. Like I said, I've been following this since the late 90s. So we're talking almost 20 years. And it works like a champ. All right. Catherine, you going to sneak one in on me, huh? I got to get my dinner. Okay. Not sure what you're thinking about here with Tandem. However, lower highs, lower lows, lower lows, lower high, lower low. Now we're trying to change. If we can get back above the $65 to $67 level, maybe. Now, Tandem was running really hot there for a while. It reports on the 25th, which is 11 days from now. So maybe if you get a run up into earnings. But I'd be careful. This right now could be T2122. I don't really know. I'd have to look at that. The T2122 here. Let's say, I'm trying to draw a channel here. We could be doing a channel, or we could be doing kind of like that. Most of the time I see these are not bullish conditions. What was the one you just had up for a bounce and pullback? A Tandem was one of them. No problem, Catherine. I'm teasing you. I'm a big tease. This looks like a descending wedge, which in my mind goes lower. Oh, it's this is a proprietary indicator. I don't know of anything that is on Thinkorswim or anything like that is like it. And what it really does, it's not that it's totally proprietary. It basically takes the 4-week new highs divided by the new lows. And when you're up here above 85%, 95%, it's basically saying, you know what, you've had a pretty healthy run. It's time for a 1 or 2 day pullback or pause. When you get way, way oversold, where you got only 20% or 10%, it's like 90% then making new monthly lows. That's what 4 weeks is. Making monthly lows. At some point, they're going to bounce. Even a dead cat thrown off a 100-foot tower is going to bounce a little bit. All right. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Okay, folks. Again, think about giving hit and run or right way options a try. I think you'll enjoy it. And thanks for stopping in today. Have great. What do I use that for? To see if we're in overbought or oversold conditions. Right now, we're up here. We could get a pullback any day. Now, what it doesn't, thank you, Catherine. It doesn't tell you how deep the pullback's going to be or how long it's going to last. Nor does the bounce say how big the bounce is going to be or how long it's going to last. You just have to read the charts. But it's yet one more indicator of momentum. That's how I use it. And if you do a trial, I'll be happy to talk to you in the trading room. On the side, we can get a feel for what's going on there and how to use it. All right. You guys take care. Have a great week. See you around the flagpole. Take care.